Good morning. Hey, it's a beautiful morning already, right? Well, here where we live right now, it is a beautiful sky outside, and I am very excited to be able to share some personal time with you to help you. That's the whole intention of this training this morning, is to help you move forward with your content, help you with your ideas, your inspiration, everything you got going on, that you're trying to pull it together, right? You're just really trying to pull it together. And my years of experience has sure taught me a lot. And I want to help you today to be able to put your ideas in a much higher level of order. Now, I don't know if you are multitasking while you're listening to me here this morning. If you are, I'm going to give you a heads up. You are going to want to have a pad of paper or be at your computer to take notes, because this is a pretty deep training here this morning. And so I want to just kind of prep you. So if you were thinking you're going to go do a bunch of stuff while you're listening to me and just have your ear pods in and think you're going to remember everything I'm going to show you, you're not. There's no way. There's no way you're going to remember the deep insights I'm going to give you here this morning. I have thought deeply about how to help you this morning. The world right now is in a tough place, and it is in a rough shape, and it's affecting people in a really big way. And if you have been working on becoming a life coach and getting your content organized, and you are not fully activated as a coach, and if you are not meeting with people, coaching people, teaching classes, doing webinars, doing YouTube videos, if you are not pouring your heart into what you are called to do, you've got to get yourself moving. There are people all over the world who need help. If I have people calling the office from the other side of the world, in the middle of the ocean, from an island, looking for a coach, looking to be a coach, that tells you it's affecting everyone. What's going on in the world right now is affecting everyone. But the time that you had to kind of like put this off and kind of like, just kind of think of it as a little side gig of like, oh, I'm just going to help people once in a while. You need to fully get into this and immerse yourself into what it takes to be able to be a full on 100% get out there, make a difference as a coach, as a mentor, as a facilitator, as a YouTube person, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to name yourself. Just teach, inspire, move, help people with where they're at. So today we're going to be talking about your ideas, your inspiration, and how there's so many ideas and so much going on around you, but how do you put it together, right? How do you bring this together so that you can actually have something of value to teach other people? So like I mentioned, if you are going to try to multitask while you're watching this or listening to this, I'm going to totally ruin your multitask plans. I have some incredible screenshots to show you that are very dynamic, which means they're going to grow and build upon each other. And if you are going to just like watch and think you're going to memorize this, no, it's not complicated. It's just, I'm going to show you the flow of things. Because I had one version of this, I was going to teach you a certain amount. But last night I was like, I can't hold back on some of these concepts. And because it's just really has made a difference in my life. And it really has helped me in how I teach people. I mean, I've been coaching people for 18 years, full on organized coaching people for 18 years. There's a lot you can learn in 18 years. So got a lot of great things to show you. I have a lot. When I say show, I literally mean show and tell, right? Like, here's a screenshot. This is a screenshot. And I'm going to walk you through this. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the way I coach, but the way I teach and coach, but you're going to see that my screenshots, they move. They're not just static. They're not just sitting there. They're going to build on top of each other. And so you're going to want to be present here ready to go, take notes, take pictures of the screen so that you can have this to refer back to, because I want you to be great. Well, first off, I want you to get doing your work and not hiding behind your work, not hesitating. Hiding was kind of a little, sorry, that was a little aggressive to say, but let's say hesitating or just not doing your work yet in teaching people. We've got to get you moving. And I know content is a big hiccup. I mean, believe me, I've been teaching coaches and facilitators for 18 years, and I see people really get hung up on content. But I totally get it, because that's where I was too. Totally get it. Totally legit. Okay, so these little bubbles with the I in it means those are symbols of inspiration and ideas and intelligence. Inspiration, ideas, and intelligence. They're all around you. They're in you. They're around you. And the question is, what do I do with this? How do I organize this? And we're going to do that. We're going to take 3 big steps. I know the email said easy. I know it said easy, but I was like, do I put easy or big? I probably should have put 3 big, easy steps, but we're going to cover 3 really deep steps in how to organize your ideas, inspiration, and intelligence into content that you can turn around and teach. Because I'm sure right now you're putting them on notepads, and you got all these different notepads all over the place. And you kind of, there's just thoughts all over the place. You got them on your computer, in your journal, you got all these little things, and you're just like, well, what do I do with all this? How do I do this? How do I pull this together? And how's Kirk going to teach me within 3 steps how to do this? I will tell you, I was wrestling with this, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe this is like a 20-step process. but I was thinking, okay, for you, I've got to make this so that you can remember what the 3 steps are, because I could tell you 20 steps, but that's just a lot to remember. So how to do this within 3. So I got it down to 3. Except they're a little dynamic in how they work, which means some components to it. So that's why I'm saying be ready to take notes. Okay, so I'm here for you. It's just you and me, right? So it's just you and me. I'm going to be talking to you as though I'm sitting at your kitchen table. So just pretend like I just came over. I knocked on your door. You let me in, and I'm literally here to help you. So this is going to get personal. I'm going to be talking about some of your thoughts and some of your feelings and some of the things you wrestle with. And I just want you to know, I kind of get who you are and what you do, because I think about you all the time. Not in a creepy way. Okay. That's just not to be creepy, but just to let you know, I'm here for you. It's just you and me. And so let's take this personal. Let's have this be real. This is not some, presentation. This is, I showed up this morning. You showed up this morning. Let's do some work. Let's think through this. And let's really consider the fact there are people out there who are waiting for you to get your stuff organized so that they can meet you and so they can learn what you've learned. So you can help them and help their kids and help their relationships. That's a big deal. It's what life really is about, is relationships, right? Okay, so let me just walk you through this here. And again, super good. Thanks for letting me in. And now we're sitting at your kitchen table. It'd be funny if you actually are sitting at your kitchen table, because then you could just imagine me sitting there, right? Or I'm actually just right here on your computer or your phone. Okay, first, I just want to thank some of my mentors and my coaches. They have completely changed my life. I mean, seriously, have changed my life. These are incredible people that have crossed my path, who have opened up my mind, opened up my eyes, opened up my heart, and literally helped me see the moving parts of life and how they move, and why it's important for me to be conscious and present and very engaged with my life. Like, my life is to be created. not just be lived. It's to be created. Every day is an opportunity for me to create. And I'm grateful for my coaches and my mentors who have taught me, who have challenged me, and sometimes really just had to kick me in the bum to get me to face some of my fears and anxieties and worries and really help me see who I am. And so, I'm just so grateful. And if every one of these coaches were and mentors were here today, I would just like point to them and just introduce them to you, because they're just incredible people who have made such a massive influence in my life. They have affected me in the right areas, in the way I think, the way I process, the way I feel, the way I connect to myself, and the way I connect to life and to connect to others. They've really helped me understand my inner world so I can do better in my outer world. And it was just been super powerful to be able to be with these coaches and to learn from them and just to open my eyes. I just love them. So I big hugs and kisses to all of them out there. And thank you for what you've done to help me. My life is still transforming. Look at this. I'm already crying. What is this? Like 9-11? Like I'm like 11 minutes into this. I'm already got tears coming in, but just huge gratitude. Because when you have a coach, when you have a mentor who gets it, they don't just affect you in the moment. It's an ongoing effect. It never ends. You still continue to learn from them, and you start to realize what they were trying to teach and what they were trying to teach me. And so I highly suggest having a coach, having a mentor to lead and guide you. Because if you're struggling, it's because you can't see. You can't see. You don't know what to think. Your feelings are all messy and you need some help. It's okay to ask for help. And that just taken me a long time to realize that part, right? Well, along my journey, I've come to have high levels of gratitude for my mom and dad, as you know, raising me and all of my childhood experiences. Sometimes childhood experiences kind of get, poked at like they're the cause for all of our failures. But why do we not express gratitude for all the successes and all the things that are good that come from our childhood? It seems like the only time childhood is brought up is like, oh, yeah, my problems come from my childhood, the way I was raised. It's like, what else came from your childhood? Was there anything good? It's like, give it full credit. But childhood has a mix, right? It has a mix of experiences. But here's the thing we want to consider. Sometimes those childhood experiences get to grow up and get to become more mature. And that's something I learned about myself, is I got to grow up some of my childhood way of thinking to be more mature. It had nothing to do with my mom and dad, my level of maturity. It had to do with me. And the more I became more mature, I was able to do better in life. I don't know. Sometimes I see adults who still throw childlike tantrums. You know what I mean? And I've seen some adults where I suggest hard work, like, hey, you need to work hard. And they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. And it sounds like they're like complaining about doing their chores. I don't know. I have had to grow up and become more mature about loving to work and not hating it and doing the hard things, right? Right. So I think each one of us has that mature side that we still get to grow and nurture. So I'm going to think that about you, that you also have parts of you that get to mature and get to be, more conscious and present about what life is all about. So if I go on the journey, you go on the journey, we all go on the journey together. So you and I get to have areas of our life become more mature. For example, when I first got married, this is where we lived. Kim and I lived in a single axle camper trailer. because we didn't have anywhere to live when we first got married. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. We literally, this was our first place to live. We didn't have an apartment, and I did not have a job. When we first got married, I had no job. I had $100. Oh, actually, I think it's $130. I had $130. I had no job. We had no place to live. We got married. We went on our honeymoon. We came back, and we had to borrow her dad's camper trailer to live in. You can tell I had a lot of growing up to do. I didn't even have a job and money. And oh man, I look back at this time in my life and I do laugh about it because it's like, wow, I was not really prepared, but I knew I found the right girl and I was excited to get married, and we got married and we both were just like, yeah, let's get this thing going. And I'm so grateful that Kim was patient with me as I was learning how to grow up and be able to take care of myself and take care of her. But seriously, this is where we started, was a single axle camper trailer. And that was our living place for a while until we got to move into grandma's basement. So when I mentioned becoming more mature, if you ever assume that you are already mature and you already should know everything, you might want to go a little easy on yourself, that there's more to learn. And I know you know that, right? We get that, but sometimes we don't act like that. Sometimes we act like we know everything because we're older and we're adults, right? Like, oh, I know everything. And so we kind of forget about being teachable. And part of being teachable is to let go of some lower level thinking that's producing lower level results. So part of like learning is letting go of one way of thinking and taking on a better way of thinking. And that's my hope here as I talk to you this morning, is how can I help you raise that level of thinking? How can we raise that level from where you're at? Now, I'm not saying you have low level thinking, but maybe it's non-productive or low productivity. But all you got to do is look at your results. If your content's not done, there's something missing. And that's okay, because we're all progressing. It's okay that there's something missing. But today, as I go to teach you and train you what to do with your ideas and your inspiration and your intellect, you might have this moment where you're going to think, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it my way. How about you take on some new thinking today? Maybe look at what I'm showing you, that my 18 years of experience has really shown me what works and what doesn't work. And I have adjusted and fine-tuned my process for 18 years so that I could talk to you today. Really. I mean, it's all come down to like, now it's you and me. So this is awesome. So if you don't like where you're at, obviously there's something you're thinking and something you're doing that's not working. And so this is where we get to be more mature and be able to go, okay, I'm ready to learn. I want to learn something and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to just sit here and learn this morning, but you're actually going to consider taking action and doing something about what you're going to receive here today. So I'm future pacing for you. This is called future pacing. And it's part of teaching and part of coaching is to put out the future pace of where this is going. My hope is that you take on what you learned from me here today and apply it, which will then pull your content more together. And I don't know how far you're going to go with this, but if it comes together to the point you actually will take action, your next step is to teach people, to tell people what you have. And you might be avoiding that and not getting your content together, but we'll find out. We'll find out. So I'm here to help you in organizing your content. And I care about where you're at and the way you're thinking. Okay, one more thank you is I want to, Wait, where did everybody go? Oh, there you are. Okay, so here we go. One more thank you is to thank my grandpa. In this picture at his birthday, my grandpa turned 103. Man, he's awesome. He no longer lives with us right now on this planet. He's in heaven. He's one of my guardian angels, and he's always talking to me and he's always encouraging me, because he was my first person that I was the investor in my personal development. When I first started, I didn't have money. When I hit rock bottom and I knew I needed to change, I didn't have money to change. I didn't have money to learn and change and grow and learn how to, the personal development world. So I called grandpa, and grandpa invested in me, and I paid grandpa back. Did you hear that part? I used what I learned and I paid grandpa back. And I paid grandpa back, and he said, I'll never forget this. We're sitting at the park, the picnic table in the backyard. And when I was talking to grandpa, literally the second to the last time I saw him, he says, "Now you tell everybody I helped you, right?" I said, "Yes, grandpa. I tell everybody you were the one who helped me." And he just gets this big old smile on his face. He's teasing me, but in honor of my grandpa, I just want to say thank you to him for believing in me and my crazy idea that I could actually change from where I used to be. Because where I used to be was I had some different thinking. I didn't think highly of myself. I didn't believe in myself. I barely, just did what I did. I stuffed my emotions. I struggled with my personal value. I struggled with my identity. I, had a job, but I barely was hanging on to that job. And it's where I started. And I realized when I hit rock bottom, because I was struggling and believing in myself, and I really was doubting myself, those voices that get in your head will start to tell you that you should not be alive anymore. And I started to believe them, and I almost took action to believe them. And so those suicidal thoughts are not that far away. And so with those suicidal thoughts, it got scary close to the very moment of that happening. And thank goodness my son interrupted the whole experience, and I'm here today. So I know what it's like to be on that suicidal thought process, and I know what it's like to deal with negative thoughts. I know what it feels like to feel completely like an idiot and worthless and absolutely empty inside. I know that place. And ever since that day that my son interrupted that moment, I have come out of that fighting. I've just come out of that fighting of like, I'm going to tell everyone how to become great. I'm going to help everyone become strong, and I'm going to figure this out, because nobody needs to be in this place. Nobody needs to be this low. They just don't understand what to do next. And so I got on my personal journey of personal development, and I started to work on myself. And the more I started working on myself, I started helping other people, and people started asking for help. And then boom, 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 things start to change. They start to change. And now I'm teaching people, coaching people. And then the years go by, and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have come through my life for me to share with them. And the same thing is going to happen to you of sharing what you've learned. Because when you start to change what goes on inside your mind, it starts to physically change you one way or the other. And so this is where we were, and this is where we are. So no matter where you're at right now inside your head about yourself, you can change. I mean, you can see the Kirk and Kim on the left, and you can see the Kirk and Kim on the right. There's physically something different, but where that physical change happened was on the inside with thoughts and feelings. And that's what I learned in my personal development journey was like, what are my thoughts? Where are they going? Where are my emotions? Where do they take me? And I didn't realize how much my inside world shaped me. not just shaped my life, but it actually physically shaped the way I looked, the brightness in my eyes. I mean, obviously you can see the couple on the right is more confident. Obviously, you can see it. And it's because of the way they think. And so I'm very, very passionate about you and your message, because your message is going to help other people be better. And you can literally imagine right now, there's going to be a couple or an individual that you are going to help, and they're going to transform. They're going to have a journey of change because you opened your mouth and shared what you have gathered, what you've been inspired with, what you've learned, what you've been trained to do. You're going to put other people on a transformation journey. And it's going to change the shape of their life and change the shape of who they are. And I get it. You're probably thinking, oh, I should probably use my own content. Like you're thinking, but Kirk, I'm still struggling. Me too. I still have things about myself that I struggle with, that I want to be better at. And it's okay for a teacher to struggle. It's okay. But it's the destination and where you're going. Do you want to be better? And do you want to help others be better? And that's what I believe who you are. You want to be better and you want to help others be better. So you are perfect for the role of a coach. We just got to get you organized so you feel like you are put together, right? But which direction are you heading? That's the most important thing. Which way are you headed? And where I'm headed is to have a higher level of self-mastery, to have a higher level of awareness and be present, right? I mean, this is like the thing. It's like what we're all working on is to head in this direction, to just like ourselves and do better and love who we are and love other people. So you and I are like on the same journey, like literally walking shoulder to shoulder. We are walking the same path. Now, I might have learned some things along the way that I can help you now to accelerate what you're doing. And that's what I want to do is I want to help you right now how to accelerate what you've been working on or maybe even struggling with when it comes to your content. One of the techniques that I've learned along my life that has made a massive difference in my life is a vision board, is visualization. And I want to just put this in your head right now. I hope that you're visualizing that you're going to be organized. I hope you visualize that you have this incredible content to teach in a class or to teach to an individual or to coach somebody with, but that you're visualizing it. Because once you lose sight of what you want, you lose hope. Once you lose sight, you lose hope. And then you stop trying. So it's super important that you're visualizing a well-organized program and that you are teaching people, either one person or 10 people, or you're on a webinar with 5,000 people. I mean, whatever you want, or on a stage teaching, 1,000 people, whatever your visualization is, create it and hold on to it to be that guiding light. If your visualization about your content is shut down, whatever I teach you, you're not going to do. If you lack vision, like it says in the Bible, those who lack vision perish. That means they don't make it. Vision of your content has to happen. To imagine your content together, to imagine it's in a format, to imagine yourself teaching people, to imagine that they're excited, imagine that they're telling their friends and their friends are coming to you and you're teaching as many people as you want, but you get to visualize that. And it's something that you have to visualize every single day. Visualization is not a seed you just throw in the dirt and just hope it takes off. You got to water that thing. You got to weed that area before those negative thoughts choke it out, before that seed dries up and it just doesn't work. You got to water that thing every day. So I put this on your list. Once you lose your vision, you start to lose hope, and then you quit trying, right? So vision creates hope. Hope creates action. Vision, hope, action. Vision, hope, action. And I've coached so many people. I know that this is super important in your life right now. If you don't have vision about your content coming together and you teaching people and people being excited, like if there's nothing like that in your head, you could read all the books and watch all the videos and get all kinds of personal training. You're not going to do anything. Because if you can't see it in your head, you're not going to believe it. It's not seeing it out here. It's seeing it in here first so that you can see it out here. If you want anything to happen out here around you, it has to start inside your head. It's where it has to start. And vision or visualization is not just used to watch movies. That's not just the only place you use visualization. Visualization is to use to create something that hasn't happened yet. So if your content is in a pile or it's in a bunch of stuff on a bunch of folders and documents on your computer, you get to visualize this program organized. And it's step 1 or session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4, session 5. And you get to imagine that you have 5 sessions and that you could hold a coaching appointment, an hour coaching appointment for each one of those. And you can visualize that you can offer that for $750 and everybody says yes. And that you're able to have 4 new clients a month, which is $3,000 a month. Just to start the vision out, like what would that do for you? To have an extra 3,000, extra 750. What about 1,500? What about 3,000? But Kirk, I want to do a higher price. You could do whatever you want, but if you don't have the vision of it being organized and teaching someone and them being excited and them paying you, it's not going to happen. I just need to tell you that right now. If you lack vision, it's not happening. So if you don't have that in your head, take on and adopt what I'm sharing with you right now. Because before I show you how to do this, if you lack vision of where this is going to go, this whole training I'm going to do with you is going to be worthless. You won't do anything. You'll just chalk it up as more information, and you're going to think your life got better. It just put more information in your life. It's like putting another book on your shelf. What'd it do for you? You have to do the things in the book. You have to do the things I show you, right? But if you don't have vision, you're not doing nothing. Nothing. That's a word. Nothing. That's like nothing. That's like nothing, but without the G, but you didn't add another letter. So it's nothing. It's just, you just got to know. If I lived next to you, right? If I lived next to you, I'd be like knocking on your door. Hey, did you visualize yet today? I'd be, and your family would be like, Mom, who's that? Dad, who's that? Oh, it's Kirk. He's checking on my vision. Seriously, if I could get in your head, I would like slide in this little mental video of you, great content, working with people saying, I want your program, their lives changing and transforming, people asking them, where'd you learn that from? They come to you, and now you're teaching people for the rest of your life and causing transformation. Like, that is be the coolest video ever inside your head. Coolest ever. Right? So good. So good. So good. But you have to put it in there. You have to put it in there. You have to put it in there and feed it every day. Water it every day. Okay. I think you got it. So what did this do for me? Having vision. Well, it gave me the power and motivation for 18 years to still be teaching. You see, I'm not a just show up, do a seminar, and then just leave, and then that's it. I'm in it. This is like my life purpose. This is like my mission. This is like what I'm designed to do, is change people's lives. So 18 years doing seminars, webinars, keynote speaking, created all kinds of training videos, over 500 of those, 30,000 hours of experience, over 6,200 presentations, been on TV over 85 times. Absolutely love it. But let's get into content. Content. This was one of the first classes. This was a class that I started 18 years ago. It was named a little bit different back then. This is the current name, but back then it was named something a little bit different. But I had to put together this class, and I was petrified of like, how am I going to do this? The class ended up being 3 days, 9 hours each, with diagrams, worksheets, doing live Q&A and coaching with the audience activities. I ended up doing this class 4 times a year and generating over $400,000 just with this one class. Now, I rattle all that off like, oh, that's easy. Are you kidding? I was up for nights and weeks trying to figure out, how am I going to do this class? It was painful. But the class came together and it became a hit. And literally, I'm still teaching that today. This class has been going on for 18 years. Sorry, 17 years. And it's the first class I ever really truly organized and started doing. And it's just, so amazing. It's now a live webinar that happens every month, twice a month, but it's still going. So when you learn how to put content together, you can change lots of people's lives. And on an average, there was 1,000 people who would show up to the class. It was so fun. Okay, then here's my first group coaching program. Very, very first group coaching program that I started to put together. And in this program, because I'd been doing live classes for a while, and it's like, okay, how am I going to do this? This was 12 weeks, 2 hours training each week. I created worksheets, team dynamics, performance trackers, live Q&A coaching, simulators, 4 times a year. That class generated $450,000 a year. So when I create a class, it works. Like, it works. There's people, and I train them and coach them, and their lives change, and there's testimonials, and they tell their friends, and their friends come. So the vision I was sharing with you about you doing the work is how you keep going. How it finally comes together is because of the vision you have about yourself, your content, your abilities, the people, the outcome. The vision has to be inside your head. Now, these first 2 classes, Master Influence and the Elite, they are 2 of 41 different classes. I don't have room to put all the logos on here, but over the last 18 years, I've created over 41 different classes. Crazy. All kinds of classes. And some of them were a 1 weekend special class. Some of them kept going year after year after year because I saw the need. I saw how I could serve. I saw how I could help. I saw what I could do. How can I help people be able to get through this problem, through this challenge? My heart is with the people who have challenges, who are trying to move forward. And so I love putting together content. I just love it. Like, if I was at your house right now, we'd like spread your content all over the table, and I would just love to just dive in. I just love taking ideas, inspiration, and intellect and putting it together into a effective program, not just something to sell. Drives me nuts when people on the internet sell this stuff that's like, it doesn't even work. It's like, it's so shallow. It's so shallow. And it's like, I don't like it when people take advantage of other people with shallow content, and they know they're just doing it to sell the program. That's all they're doing. They don't really work on the elements of transformation. And that's what I care about, is the elements of transformation when it comes to content and how that works. And so along the way of being able to teach people, either in my home or from the stage, different classes, I have absolutely loved putting together content and working with people. So when I get a chance to help you this morning, it's a thrill. So I love this. I love this. So here's something I want to tell you. If you stay to the end, the very last screenshot I have for you is my advanced checklist for content. It's pretty heavy and deep. It's one screen and it's a bunch of line items, but I'll let you take a picture of it. It's the last screenshot. So the last screenshot I will show you at the very end. You can take a picture of it. I'll give you some explanation, but it's like my trade secrets. It's like what I know that needs to be in very advanced content if you're going to be teaching a large seminar, or if you're going to be teaching a group coaching program, how to effectively cause transformation. So if you stay to the end, all you got to do is stay to the end, and you can, that last screenshot, you can take a picture. Cool? All right, cool. Just want to let you know that. Okay, so coaching, you're serving by sharing your inspiration, your ideas, your education, your experience, right? It's like everything you've got. A life coach is somebody who shares advice from life experiences, teaches from education, learn techniques, learn a skill, get trained on a coaching program. There's so many different ways to prepare yourself to be a life coach, right? Now, some of this stuff, I'm not showing you so you can like take notes on it. It's just, I'm informing you. Now, one thing I don't know yet about you is if you want to be an informal coach, a formal coach, or a professional coach. I don't know. So get in the chat box and tell me. I want to know, are you into this to be informal, which means it kind of happens, right? Like maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your friends, maybe it's your siblings. Maybe it's somebody at work that you just want to be able to give good advice and be, confident about what you're sharing. Or do you want to be organized, and have some particular appointments that you hold? You have diagrams, you have tracking process, it's more, legit and meaning formal, but then, or do you want to be professional? I'm just curious, informal, formal, or professional? And so this one is, there's a financial investment, right? Like they're going to pay you. There's a mentoring program, a workbook, worksheets. There's certain techniques, empowerment techniques, let go techniques, emotional management techniques. There's, a certain amount of time and for each appointment, start time, end time, you're taking notes, there's diagrams, there's folders, there's tracking process. The appointments are recorded to be reviewed, and you have training, right? And there's also at the very top, an agreement. Like this is like full on professional. Okay. I see you typing comments in the chat box. I appreciate that, because I don't know if you're, where you are at on this. And so there's informal, formal, and professional. There is quite a number of people who are actually saying that they're a coach, but this is what they do, is that they're actually informally coaching people, but they call themselves a life coach. And so whenever somebody says, "Oh, I'm a life coach," I go, "Okay, what are you? Informal, formal, or professional?" And it's kind of funny when they say, "I don't know." Then that tells me they're informal. I do like working with professional coaches who are becoming professional coaches. Like they want to be full on. I really enjoy that because that's what I do. I also really enjoy working with formal coaches that maybe they're just doing it, but they do it for free. And if they got paid, it'd be cool. Right. And then the informal, I actually really enjoy that too. So all three of these, I do all of them in different arenas, right? At different arenas. Like if I'm at church, right? I'm not going to like be this professional coach at church. Are you kidding? I'm going to fly under the radar and I'm going to seem like the normal guy in the room, except I got this wisdom that people are like, "Wow, where'd you get that?" It's kind of fun. And then also like if I'm at a family reunion, I am not going to be a professional coach at a family reunion. No way. People will avoid me. So at a family reunion, I'm like this, informal. Or if I'm fishing with my buddy, right? Or if I'm hanging out with my kids or my son, or what if my wife asks me a question? Do I become the professional coach? What do you think? Would it be good for me in my marriage to slip into professional coach mode with my wife? Tell me what you think about that one. How do you think that would turn out? So funny. Tell me in the chat, what do you think that would happen if I did that? So even with my sweetie pie, I will slip into informal. There's not a set time. We're not going to end at a certain time. I'm not going to track my wife. Are you kidding? There's no way. I would get busted. And I'm not going to record the appointment. And I'm not going to do a follow-up phone call. Hey, sweetie, I just want to follow up on your action steps. No way. So there's a space for informal. There's space. Well, I think there's space for informal. And then formal is, just depending on your time and your level of commitment to it. But so whatever level you're at, I'm game. Let's talk about your content. Cool. Right? Like, do you really become a professional coach with your wife or anybody who's closely knit to you? Yeah, you don't. You go for the informal in those moments. Maybe I should do a training on that. How to coach your spouse or your kids. Would you go to that? If I did a Thursday morning class on how to coach your spouse or kids, would you show up? I just curious. I don't know. I just thought most people don't know how to do that without ruffling their feathers or getting caught or them going, "Oh, you're just being a coach." Would you do that? I think it'd be cool. All right. Just thinking about that. Let me know in the chat box if that would be something that would be helpful for you. Okay. So ultimately, here's where we're going to start with content. Content is like this, is that the person you're coaching is at point A. Whatever their life is like is point A. That's where they're currently at. This star is where they wish they could be. That is called point B. The arrow is the effort that they are attempting to do to get from point A to point B. So your coaching program is to help and assist the person to get from point A to point B. Like this, the gap. You are going to fill the gap. So they're going from point A to point B. And it looks like, oh, that's pretty easy, Kirk. You just go like this. Like that's it. All you got to do is go from here to there. But you never know. There could be a wall. There could be an emotional trigger. There could be a grumpy person in their life and they have difficulty with relationships, or maybe they just have no idea what to do. So you're helping a person get from point A to point B. So if somebody asks you, "Oh, so you're a coach? What do you do?" Well, I help a person get from where they're at to where they want to be. They're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And they're like, "So how do you do that?" Now you get to explain your coaching program. So you also get to clarify to people, because when people are moving between point A and point B, it is common to hit a mental wall, a difficult relationship, confusion, and emotional triggers. Very common. Actually, predictable. You catching this? Super important. Because if you're going to write content, put together a coaching program, you are helping the person to be able to get from point A to point B. That's the work. That's what you're there for. Because somewhere along the journey, something happens and they've tried, but for some reason, they still are not at their point B. Something happened, something's missing. They have tried and they have tried, but they can't figure out, why can't I get there? And so that's what your coaching program is all about, is to help the person get from wherever they're at to wherever they want to be. Maybe this person wants to let go of 20 pounds. So they're at 170 and they want to be at 150. So you could be a health coach, or let's say you're a business coach and this person's sales are at 100,000 and they want to be at 150,000. So you're going to help them get from 100,000 to 150,000. So it's point A, point B. You could put any coaching program in this model right here. It's called A to B coaching. Do you get that? So I'm trying to help give you some framework to your coaching. And your coaching program is what happens when what you can teach them, what you can help them with to get from point A to point B. Let's say there's a married couple and they're struggling. So point A is they're struggling. Point B is they're super deeply connected. Okay, so what happens between point A and point B? So your coaching program turns into these sessions that move them forward to be able to accomplish what they desired. So this is your 5 sessions of your coaching program. These are 5 different meetings. You could have 3, you could have 5, you could have 7, you could have 10, but your coaching is an A to B coaching. But Kirk, why don't you do A to C? Okay, we could do that, but how about we get to point B? Because here's what I've learned over the 18 years of coaching. If I can help a person get from point A to point B, they can help themselves get from point B to point C, because I did such a great job training them. So I don't want them to become dependent on me. I want this experience to be their training. And then from point B to point C, they now are empowered. They're empowered. So your coaching is from A to B. And these are each one of the sessions. They could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 sessions, however many you choose to do, depending on the content. This is the content. This is the training. These are the sessions. These are the appointments that happen where you get to teach them what you know to be able to educate them, teach them a skill, help them understand themselves, change their perceptions, whatever it is you're good at, whatever it is you feel called to do. But your coaching is from A to B. Every coach I've ever met, I ask, what do you do? And they say, oh, I take a person from here and I can help them create this. It's A to B coaching. That's what you do. So if somebody questions you and they're like, so what do you do? Oh, I help take people from A to B. Oh, how do you do that? Then you can explain, oh, I have 5 sessions. And each one of these sessions moves you along towards your point B. If you do the work and you practice and you develop this skill, you'll achieve point B. Every human being is looking on how to get to point B. Every human being wants to get to point B. Every human being wants something to be better, whatever it is. They want their couch to be new. They want income to go up. They want to lose weight. They want to have a better relationship. They want to build that business. They want to plant that garden, build that house, fix that car, write that book, fly to another country, help them build a well, because they didn't have a well and now they do have a well. So it's A to B. That's what you're doing. I love this part because it just simplifies what's going on, but this really helps you set up your mind in the framework in your mind of why you're organizing your content. Because ultimately you're going to organize your content into steps that layer on top of each other to get a person from point A to point B. So here's one of the first questions is, who is this person? What kind of people do you want to teach? And it could be a group or a particular individual, a particular type. It could be a group or a type. Now, so you'll hear people say, oh, what's your niche? You could have a group of people that is your niche, or you could have a type of person that is your niche. So let's say you want to help people who are struggling with relationships. That's a group. So now you know you want to work with people who are struggling with relationships. And it's like, cool. That now you know who you're going to be talking to. That helps you organize your content if you know the group or the type. Write those two words down. It can be a group or a type. And if you're like, but Kirk, I'm not quite sure, it's okay. You can start out with a test group or a test type. You don't have to know right now who exactly this is, but you could start out with your best guess. You just go off your best guess because you are in rough draft form right now. We're not doing this to be perfect. We're doing this to get a rough draft put together so you can actually become and get into contact and engage with that group or with that particular type. That's what we got to get you to do, is to get into the group and the type and start to test your material so that you can make adjustments, and you can also make adjustments on the group and type that you want to work with. But you won't figure it out until you start teaching who you guess it is. It's okay to guess, because if you pick a group and you're helping them, that's still good, even though you're guessing. It's okay to practice on a group. It's okay to practice on a type, because all of the outcomes are going to be good. This is where your perfectionist will come in and just mess with you. Put the perfectionist over on the counter. Can you do that for me right now? Get a hold of that perfectionist part in your head. And just so you know, it's one of your personality traits. Just imagine in your head, there's this little person sitting in your head, and it's your perfectionist person. You need to tell that person to go over and sit on the counter, or sit in a chair or sit on the couch, and tell them, you can't be here right now. You can't play. You will come in later, not here at the beginning. And you have to tell your perfectionist personality trait to go sit on the couch. Because if they participate right now, they are not going to let you put this together because it's not perfect. Now, remember what I said in the beginning about you're in development. You are learning to be open to the ideas in which I'm sharing with you. So put that perfectionist over on the couch and just tell them right now, go sit on the couch and be quiet. You can come later. After I've tested this, then you can come in and we can perfect it. But testing comes before perfecting. Write that down. Testing comes before perfecting. Testing comes before perfecting. If testing is not allowed, you will shut down. You will shut down. And just so you know, you can be successful in test mode. I'm not kidding. You can be successful in test mode because you'd be like, whoa, this is working. And so it's like, wow, this is working. We should perfect this. So testing doesn't mean it's like messy. Testing means you have something and you have a particular group or particular type you're ready to test it out on, because it's not going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt them because you're there to help them get from point A to point B, which is a good thing. Testing comes before perfecting. Tell your perfectionist personality trait to go sit on the couch and close their mouth and be quiet. Give them a bowl of popcorn and tell them that we'll be back later. And they can come in later after you get a chance to do testing. So inside your head, there's another personality trait. It's called playful and creative. That particular person, which is you, it's another one of your personality traits. It's inside your head. Ask them to step forward, because this is where the playful, creative side gets to happen. Now, why do I encourage playfulness? Playfulness is not sloppiness. Playfulness is it's okay to move pieces around. It's okay. Because if you're going to be serious, that's another personality trait. So you got playful, serious, and perfectionist. Your serious side is like super close to your perfectionist side. They need to go sit down too. Playful means it's okay to put this piece over here and this piece over here and this piece over here, because it's okay to move things around. It's not disrespectful in any way, no matter who it is, your group or type that you're teaching. But if you don't have play or moving pieces, playful and creative, it's not going to develop. If serious and perfectionists come over in your head and try to run the show, it's going to take you another 5-10 years to pull off your content, because you'll only do it because you're forced to get it done. But we need creative to be here. We need creative to be up front and be part of this. So it's okay to move pieces around. Cool. Give me a click of the raise the hand button if this makes any sense to you. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense so far, because this is like, this changed the way I develop content. When I realized, hey, I'm helping this couple get from point A to point B. How do we do that? Or I'm going to help this coach get from point A to point B, or this facilitator, this trainer, this public speaker, this CEO, this business owner, this teenager, this child. How do I get them from point A to point B? And that is the question you want to have on your mind. What needs to happen between point A and B? That is what you ponder on, is the middle. What do we do? What do we teach? What matters? What doesn't matter? What is great content? What is okay content? I don't know. We got to pull everything together and start organizing these ideas to see what is going to fit in this space, right? Okay. So this is a precursor, also some future pacing to help your head know where we're going. Is we're going to fill in the gap between point A and point B, so that you can help people with what they don't know how to do. And remember, they're going to run into walls. There's things they don't know how to do. They're going to encounter a grumpy person who shuts down their life. And there's also going to be emotional triggers. So that's why they can't make it. These are the 4 common issues that stop every human being from moving forward. And if we can educate this person, we can remove this one. If we can build up their mind, we can remove this one. If we teach them how to, we can remove this one. And if we help them understand how valuable they are and how important they are, we can remove this one. And boom, they're going to make it. To get to point B is possible, but there needs to be education and training, and most likely a skill learned so that they can make it. It's awesome. So it's so doable. Whatever your field is, whatever your topics are, whatever your group and your types that you're working with, it is so possible. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get into the 3 different steps and how this works. Step 1, in organizing content, there is a tuning of the mind. There's a tuning of the mind. Now, this screen right here is going to be the most used screen. So this is going to develop. You want to take pictures along the way of this screen, because it's going to keep changing. It's going to keep changing and getting added to show you the whole picture of how this works. So whenever you're putting together content and you're thinking about the group or the type, usually the brain is going to go, well, what should I teach and how should I teach it? And there's all these ideas that are literally around your head, ideas, inspiration, intelligence. It's always around us. Intelligence is in the air all the time. And so you have these ideas that have come to you, right? And you also have these ideas that pop in and then they pop out. You know what I'm talking about? You like have this idea and you're like, oh, I'll remember that. And then 2 minutes later, it's gone. Okay, don't stress. It's not gone. It just popped back out of your head. So why did it pop out of your head? Well, the reason why is because inside your head, there was a negative thought that kicked it out. And so this idea came in, but the negative thought kicked it out. That's why it didn't stick. And that goes on all day long inside your head. So depending on how many negative thoughts you have about yourself in your head, it tells you how many ideas are popping in and popping out, because they just can't stay because of these negative thoughts. Oh, excuse me. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so just heads up, how that works is that there's ideas that will pop in and pop out. Now, the negative thought won't show itself, but that's the underlying reason why these other thoughts don't stick. So just as a side note, the more negative thoughts you get out of your head, the more intelligence and ideas can come in. You have to create the room to receive. If there's no room to receive. Your head has a particular capacity, and if there's negativity inside there, it will block intelligence and ideas from coming to you, even though they are literally hovering around you. You'll get glimpses of them, and then they will pop back out, but they don't go very far away. They just hover around you. So your work is, on a side note, on a different training on a different day, remove the negative thoughts from your head so that you have room to receive the ideas and inspiration to come in to help you elevate and up-level your coaching program. So the more negativity you get rid of it in your head, the better you're going to see how your program works, and you will continue to update and up-level your program, and it will just get better and better and better. But right now, we'll work with what you have. Okay, right now we'll work with what you have. So I'm guessing you probably have some negative thoughts about yourself, and that is normal. It's very normal. Okay, so this is what we got to work with right now. Okay, so here's the ideas, intellect, and inspiration that you have to work with. These two questions are great questions. What should I teach, and how should I teach it? Or how will it work, right? These are great questions, but it doesn't fine-tune the mind. Great questions, just don't go with those first. Go with, who am I going to teach? What's the group and the type? Group or type. So let's say you pick, and I'm just going to pick a random topic. Let's say you pick couples. You're going to help couples become super connected, yummy, yummy, yummy connected. Now you know who. Okay, now why does that matter? Why does that matter that your brain is focusing on who? Because all these ideas are about lots of different things. All this intellect and intelligence is about a lot of different groups of people and lots of different types of people. But to fine-tune your mind, you need to give your mind who to focus on. So then what happens, because you are introducing a focusing process, now your mind can target ideas and literally go, oh, this idea is going to be great. And then it can search through the rest of the ideas and go, oh, you too, that would be a great idea too. So even though you have all these ideas, it doesn't mean all of them are going to go in your coaching program, because you want to use this question as a fine-tuning of the mind so that you actually are looking for specific content. So the what should you teach comes down here. The how is it going to work? How are you going to help these people? That comes down here. So then the first question needs to be who. You pick your group, your type. And remember, you're guessing. It's okay to guess at the beginning because you're just testing. Guessing is testing. Testing is acceptable. The second question is why? Why this group, or why this type of person? Whoa, you know what that does? That adds another searching mechanism. So now you're searching why, which will reach out and pull in the outside reasons. Because out here are the motivators. These are the motivators, and this is why we do what we do. On the inside is a bunch of content and also who we could help. So now you got two searching indicators or fine-tuning questions of who are you going to work with and what's your reason why. Those two questions right there activate your mind to specifically target particular information. That information, inspiration, and intellect then gets highlighted, and you can group this information together because now you're using the right tuners to tune your mind into what content you're looking for. And again, when you pose the question why, that generates a higher level of interest. And so your mind will look beyond its own fleshy capacity and bring in those ideas that had floated in once before And now you can bring those together and group those together because now you're searching why. Why activates the spiritual aspect, the deep aspect of content. The who narrows the search of what of all the things you know could serve those people from getting from point A to point B, whatever group or type that is. And so these are the two questions you want to focus on as you are gathering and sorting through all the different information that you have ever thought of or learned or ever have come across, to be able to pull that in and to be able to organize this. So the what to teach is still good. It's just that's after the who and why has been seriously considered for at least 7 days. So a 7-day pondering of sorting out your thoughts. And some of these thoughts are going to pop up and you're going to go, wait a minute, that's not for this particular group or type. And so if that thought pops in, it's okay. You just let it hover. If this thought pops in and it doesn't fit, it's okay. Don't use it. Some ideas we just don't use. Did you hear that? Just because you're building a coaching program doesn't mean you stick everything in it. It has to fit the who and it has to fit the why. It might be a great idea. And if you try to jam that, in there, it's like a pool ball. It goes in here and it could just like bust apart all this other stuff. And it's like, no. Don't force content. If it doesn't fit the who, don't use it. And if it doesn't fit the why, don't use it. And so you pick the who and the why, and then that helps you sort through content. So good. So click the raise the hand button if that was really helpful for you to hear and understand that process of being able to sort through content, right? And when I sit with people, or if I'm on a Zoom call with them and I can help them walk through their content, this is how I'm thinking. Is I go, okay, what group do you want to work with? Okay, great. Let's detail that out. Okay, or the type of person. And we know it's a guess because we're going to test it. Because the perfectionist side of you is still sitting on the couch over there with the serious one, because we're in creative zone right now. We need to be in creative zone. So who and why activates the mind to tune the mind in the right way. So now you have this content. What do you do with it? Well, you stick it in a folder on your computer or a journal, but you organize the thoughts. And maybe inside that folder, there's another folder. Maybe there's another folder that you have inside like a subfolder, and there's another subfolder. And then you start to organize the ideas that are like each other into individual folders to be able to sort through what has come to you, what is in your mind. And again, you give yourself 5 to 7 days to be able to work through all of your thoughts, because each time you go to sort through thoughts, there can be other thoughts that have been hovering around that just didn't get a chance to come in yet because there wasn't room. And so as you clear out a thought, another thought can come in. That's why you want to give yourself 5 to 7 days of a focus point of like, wow, if I write this idea down, and sort it and organize it, that's going to open up another area for another thought to come in. Because you've activated your why and your who, your mind is not only searching the inside of what it has, but it's also reaching out to see what has shown up before that gets to come in. And so if you write the idea down, it creates that opening so that the other idea can come in. So you will find over the 5 to 7 days more flowing to you. And you'll actually get to a point where you actually will feel empty. And you'll be like, I have no more ideas. That's all I have. Just wait. Go read your who description and read your why description, and notice what happens the next day. You will have new ideas that have popped in because you are still activating this and you're creating the space. Others will come to you. And just when you thought your head was empty, it's not. You're still bringing in or drawing in intellect, inspiration, and ideas because they're everywhere and they are in massive abundance. And then you take those ideas and sort them through the folders that help you organize what the content is that you could teach. Now, going back to this, what you want to think about is you want to think about, okay, what would be a great process from all the ideas that you have, and you've divided them up into, this would be a great start, this would be great in the middle, this would be great at the end. Start, middle, end. And again, you're guessing. You're just guessing. You're being creative because maybe this one needs to go to the start. Maybe this one needs to go to the end. You don't know, but while they're in their folders, you can move them around until they start to feel like this is the beginning portion of the program. This is the middle of the program. This is the end of the program. Once you start to organize your ideas into a start, a middle, and an end, and start to move them back and forth to see where they actually feel right or fit right, you then can take those particular ideas and then, let me just get this right here. Then you come to this is called mapping it out. You then take your ideas and on your wall, you then take these ideas and you start to put them in a timeline from A to B. So on your wall, you put A, and on your wall, you put B. And then you put, if you want to have 3 or 5 sessions, and then you take those ideas on Post-it notes, and you then put those Post-it notes on your timeline of getting from point A to point B, the ideas of what you would teach or what you would train. And then you can see how it is flowing from point A to point B. Again, making it visual. Super important to make this visual. If you keep it in folders, if you keep it locked up in folders, it's hard to see or to imagine how this content is coming together. So what you do is you go to your timeline on the wall, or you could create one on an Excel sheet, however you like to create things. But you literally can take these ideas, or if you want, you could actually use Post-it notes. And this is a Post-it note. So you could use Post-it notes to express the different techniques or the different education that you would go and use. So you're literally putting your idea onto the Post-it note and posting it where you think it would fit between point A and point B. Kirk, is this what you do? Yes, I'm very visual, because if I can see this happening in front of me with my content, I then can take a look at this and go, okay, now I'm not going to do a Post-it note thing for every one of these things, but I could look at this and go, wow, this idea, I don't know if I should start out with that. I'm thinking that would go better here. And then I scoot this up. These are like this. And I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, that feels right. That looks like, well, no, that one should not be at the end. I got to move that one to the start. You can move these around. Because remember, you're creating content. And if you have this up on the wall to look at, you will start to see where there are gaps or where there might be too much piled up to teach in a session. Just plan on 5 appointments. What are you going to teach in each appointment that's going to progress them from point A to point B? And you know your content, you know your ideas, you know what you've learned and what you've been trained on. And so you get to look at this and move these around. This is where creative and playful are permissible. And you start shifting these around, and then you go to sleep, you wake up, you look at the wall, you look at your wall and you see what you put together from the day before, and you will feel if it is in the right order or not. And as soon as you get this into a particular order that seems like, wow, I think I got it. Like, I'm going to do those two there, this one there, one there, one there, because it's kind of, they need to do one, one, and then we'll do two, two, two. Yeah, I like this. So what's the next step? Test it. You go coach somebody for free. And now that you've put this together, it's like, okay, I'm going to start here, then I'm going to teach this, and then I'm going to teach this. And you could do this in 30-minute sessions. You could do this in 1-hour sessions to practice with somebody, a friend, a family member, but you get to practice because it's not about them learning from you in the practice. It's about you experiencing how you put this in order, because you'll feel it. You'll know if you teach this one and you're like, oh, that was so awesome. You teach this one, that was amazing. You teach this one, it's like, uh-oh, this one was a flop. Like that was not the right timing. Like, I got to move this over here. This is what we need to do. This needs to be moved over here. You won't know until you teach it. You have to test it. Guess, test, and practice. You get to test this. I can't tell you how many times people want to just have perfection right at the very beginning. They want to just be perfectly lined out of exactly what works and how it works. And it's like, well, if you want something like that, you should learn somebody else's coaching program, like get trained in their coaching program, right? That's what you would need to do. But if you're wanting to build your own content, you will come to the point of you have to go test it. And it's okay if a piece doesn't work that well. Your intentions were good. You cannot ruin that person. and you let them know, hey, I'm testing some content. I really believe this is going to be good. Let me test this out on you. And you're focused on how it flows and how it works all the way through your program. And it's okay to move pieces around. I have moved pieces around so many times in my classes. In the 18 years of my career of being a coach and presenter, I have permission to adjust my content to make it better. And I give myself that permission because I want it to be awesome. So you get to test it. So this part is a massive, massive roadblock that people run into because they ask the wrong questions. But now that you know the right questions to fine tune your mind, you will be able to pull out the ideas that you currently have. You can start by having a beginning of the program, the middle of the program, the end of the program, and you're guessing. You're just trying to guess how this groups together. And you're just playfully doing it because you can move the pieces around. It's not like you're just practicing with it. Then from there, you take it to the wall and you make it visual, but put it on the wall or on a flow chart or on an Excel sheet or a Google sheet so you can see the flow from left to right and put your ideas there. Go to sleep, wake up the next day, check it again, move some pieces around, go to bed that night, check it the next day. Give yourself time to sort through this. Give yourself some time, but actively and tangibly sorting, not just all of those ideas just stuck inside your head. That's not going to do you any good, because if they're inside your head, they're popping in, they're popping out, they're swirling around. Your negative thoughts are running around, just kicking stuff out. They're trying to come back in. That's a mess. That'll drive you nuts. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? In fact, click the raise the hand button if you know what I'm talking about. With that kind of thing happen, with them popping in and out and negative thoughts just kicking them out. Oh, so frustrating when you have an idea and then it's gone and you believe in yourself and then you don't. It's tough to try to sort it out in your head. So these two questions activate and tune the mind in the right way to be able to select the content that will fit them and the why factor of why you want to work with this group or this type. Then in your folders, give yourself 3 different columns or 3 different folders to start sorting the beginning, the middle, the end of your program, just to have some level of sorting. Then you get to go to the timeline and put this out in front of you so you can see it and start moving the pieces around. Once you get 1, 2, 3. Once you get 3 appointments or 3 sessions worth of content, before you even get 4 and 5, once you get 1, 2, 3 somewhat put together, get someone. You need to get someone to teach. You need to be teaching somebody by the time you have your 3rd part of your content ready. Teach. Now, if you got a little bit more guts, teach on this by the time you have your 2nd one ready. Because the sooner you can start teaching, the more it's going to make sense. It will come together the more you use it. If you wait until it's all the way done, you could end up having to change a lot of pieces around, like the whole entire thing. But if you start sooner, like get 1 session, 2 session put together, like, I think this would be really cool to test this out. Teach somebody. And if you can, teach a second person. Teach a second person to kind of confirm, like, oh, wow, yeah, I should not do that right there. Like that was really hard for them to do. I should move that later. We need to kind of simplify the first 2 appointments. And you'll find out really fast how it feels to you, because it's coming to you. This content is coming to you, and it's yours that you're organizing. You're the one in tune with it. So when you teach it, the sooner you can teach it, it gives you only 1 or 2 things to change, right? It's a lot less to change and less overwhelming. I watch people wait too long to practice with people. It's after they got all their content, and then they have to shift so many pieces, they actually burn out. So don't burn out, practice sooner. Have 2 people that are fun to work with. Tell them you're practicing. Tell them, hey, I just want to test this, see how it feels. If you learn something, I'm super excited for you. But just sit here, listen to me, engage with the conversation. I want to test this. And it could be over the phone. It could be over Zoom. It could be in person. Don't make it complicated. Just get her done as soon as possible. Because then you can make your adjustments. And then you're like, whoa, now I'm going to teach my 3rd one because my first 2 are awesome. They're done. This is done. They are on. Okay, now time to teach my 3rd one. And then you teach the 3rd one. And these people are going to learn. They're going to learn. They're going to get inspired. And then you move through the rest of your program. And if you got to move pieces around or you realize something, move it. It's okay to move it. Keep your perfectionist on the couch, right? Okay, good. Okay, so we got step 1 was tune your mind. We got step 2. Oh, this is step 2. I just forgot to label it. I was going to use this screenshot. It's called map it out. In fact, let me just copy that. That worked better on this screenshot. Map it out. So we mapping it out. Love it. Okay, so what do you do after you map it out? So let's say you've got it all mapped out. Boom, it's on. You've got your content. You've been teaching 1 or 2 people or 3 people. They're super tickled. You love it. Oh, you just love it, right? What do you do next? Number 3, package it. How do you package it? Well, you need to have a format here to follow to be able to package it. And what does it mean to package it? Well, first off, you need to give your program a name. You gave birth to it. Sounds crazy, but you gave birth to it. Give it a name. Okay. And you know what you're going to train on. You've picked your number of appointments. Now you get to, or you get to decide, how many appointments do I really want to do? Okay. How long do I want each of my appointments to be? On an average, you want to go 45 minutes to an hour. That's a good, healthy amount. As you get better, you'll notice you'll bump it up to 90 minutes and maybe down the road, even 2-hour appointments. I know even my own wife was shocked when she said, there's no way I'll ever teach 2 hours. And then as she was coaching, she's like, oh, I got to keep this down within 2 hours. You just get so excited about coaching. It's so fun. So start out about 45 minutes to an hour for each session. And then how long between each appointment? I think when you first start out, 1 appointment per week is a great pace. Once you become more confident and familiar with your content, then you want to work out to be once every 2 weeks. And then the furthest I would go if I were you, until you've coached maybe 20, 30 people, is maybe 3 weeks between appointments. Once you become more seasoned and you've taught over 30 different people, you then could extend it to more of a month, because then you remember, you take better notes, you do better things. And so right now, the time between appointments, you want to keep it about every 7 days or once a week. Where to hold the appointment, use Zoom or a phone call. You can do in person if you want, but if you do Zoom, wow, you save a lot of driving time, you save a lot of coordinating. As soon as your appointment's over, you are still home, and it just really saves you a ton of time. So Zoom tends to be very acceptable across the world. I've held lots of appointments by Zoom with people in all different parts of the world. Communication agreement. You just want to get clear with the person. Like, can they text you? Can they call you in the middle of the night or not? So you need to draw some boundaries of what that looks like, of how often can they text you or can they email you, if you want that or not. My suggestion to you is that they can text you, but that you got 24 hours to respond to them. And if you need 48 hours, say 48 hours. And if they email you, you got 48 hours to respond back to them. Give yourself time to respond in case you have multiple clients. But I don't let my clients just call me. We can set up an appointment, but they can't just call me. I mean, if it's an emergency, they probably should be calling somebody else. But I need to have appointments because my schedule is pretty full, and I need to, schedule that. So that's why I have them text me so that we can schedule it. And then also pricing. Okay, how do you do pricing for this? What do you do that? And then method of payment. There's so many different ways that are easy today to do payments. You got Venmo, you have PayPal, you have, credit card processing, so many different ways to do payment. You just decide which way is going to work best with you. Set up a separate account for your business. Make sure that money goes into a separate account and not into just your personal account. When it comes to pricing, here's a couple examples. You could do 3 appointments for $150. You could do 3 appointments for $250. You could do 5 appointments for $550, 5 appointments for $750. These are very acceptable, very norm across the world for pricing. If you do 7 to 10 appointments, you could bump it up to $1,200. You could, anywhere between 7 and 10 appointments for $2,500, 10 appointments for $5,000, 10 appointments for $7,500, and beyond. So starting out, you're kind of looking at this column right here. And when do you raise your price? Well, you raise your price when you don't have any more room for clients. When you max out your calendar, if it's 3 clients, 5 clients, that tells you should raise your price. Now, a lot of people struggle with raising their price because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. You don't have to raise your price. You don't have to. But if you're asking me, when should you raise your price? It's when you start to max out your calendar. Because then when somebody says, hey, I want to sign up, you can say, I'm full, but I can start you next month. And they're like, whoa, okay. And you can bump your price up because now the demand is higher. And it's just because the demand's higher. Your schedule is going to be full. You need time to focus, take care of the notes, do a good job, increase your education, take care of your family so you can do this full time. And hopefully this will replace whatever other income you currently have so you can actually do this full time. But 5 appointments for $750, very affordable for people to do. People will pay that over and over and over and over again. And with 4 new clients, that's $3,000. I mean, there's so much potential. It's crazy awesome. Crazy awesome. So 3 easy steps: tune the mind, map it out, package it. Right? Wow. I know I talked fast. That was like fast, but I hope you got some screenshots of that too. So let me go through a couple of common mistakes here. Number 1, trying to be perfect and trying to perfect the content before testing it. Another big common mistake is skipping the practice experience with clients. And then also number 3, falling for the imposter syndrome virus. What that means is you're like, how can I teach people when my life is a mess? Well, you might know important information, even though you're a mess. That information will change people's lives. Even though you can't conquer it, you can still pass it along. If you find a great meal, this is a weird example, but if you find a great meal, can you still tell people about the great meal, even though your dishes aren't done? Yes. You can tell them about a great meal they can cook, even though your kitchen might be a mess and you haven't done the dishes. So when you find great information, pass it along. When you learn, when you get skills, pass them along, help people. and then keep working on your own life. But these are three very, very big common mistakes that happen. And just remember this, as your client is taking the steps, to move towards their goal, it is very normal for them to experience doubt, discouragement, frustration, embarrassment, and exhaustion, because they're actually working for something at another level that they've never been at before. So this is new, and it's like an exercise program for the mind. Coaching is like exercise for the mind. And so doubts will come up, discouragement, frustration, embarrassment, exhaustion. And if you don't have a way to help them manage emotions, that would be a good technique to add to your program so that they don't get stuck on the step of discouragement and get stopped. Because sometimes that happens. But just heads up, it's very normal for clients to go through this. So if your client has this happen to them, very normal. Very, very, very normal. Okay, almost ready for, oh my gosh, time's flying by. So I'm going to answer some questions here in just a moment. If you have questions, please go into the Q&A box and put your question in there. And then I'll pull from those questions and jump on and see if I can do a live question or two here. But I'll answer as many as I can in the Q&A box, and then I'll try to reach out to you live, Okay, so just want to touch on this. Framework of a successful coach. Content is important, but it's not the only thing. Content is very important to be organized, to have a system, have a process, how you're going to coach people, because that's what you tell people you're going to do, right? Is content. Next, very important, is the mindset of a coach. Just because you have great content, it doesn't mean your mindset is in a good, healthy place. That could either move you forward in a big way, or it could mess with you. Because in the mindset realm, there tends to be personal value limits, money issues, imposter syndrome walls, fear traps, emotional triggers, and identity crashes. So mindset has to be addressed also. So today we talked about content. Mindset is huge. And it's not something you can just skip over and think, just coaching with content is going to fix your mind. You need to get training on how to have a good coach mindset. Next is delivery. This is when it say delivery, I'm talking about best appointment practices, learning using at least 4 or more of the learning styles when it comes to teaching. How do you unlock the mind? How do you unlock the heart? How do you unlock motivation? How do you do accountability in your appointments? There's a professional way to do this that's very effective, but just know that delivery is something you also want to learn how to do. And then the other one is intuition. Intuition, I feel, plays a vital role in getting to the core issues, because with intuition, you're able to find out what they did not say, what they left out, be able to read their body language, be able to interpret their tone, be able to find the source of their issues, and also where's the best place to go next with this client. I love the intuition part because it helps me customize my coaching if I need to, because I have my coaching program, but I also have the versatility to be able to customize it because my intuition is high and I know what I'm looking for in that coaching appointment so that I can really fit the needs of that client in a customized way. So if you've ever wanted to have better mindset or better delivery or better intuition, I can train you. I can teach you, because this is what I do. When I work with coaches, these are the 4 things that I want to be better inside of you, because I know it'll help you perform at your best. You may not have known that there were these 4. That's why I wanted to show you that, yes, content is important. Get it done, get it practiced, fine tune it, have it. But you're going to need to work on mindset and delivery and intuition sooner or later to be able to continue to keep going and to be able to work with the people and with what they're wrestling with in their life. So don't settle just on content, but you can see, get it done, right? But for you, I want you to know where you ought to go next for your training in helping develop your abilities as a coach. And so it's just nice to know what should you work on next, right? I hope that matters to you because it matters to me. I like my own coaches telling me what to watch for and what to look at. Now, usually people get stuck right here. That's where they get stuck. They get content and they got content, but for some reason they're still not coaching. They can't find people, and all of a sudden people evaporated off the planet. And it's because of the mindset stuff that they wrestle with. And so I don't want you to get stuck there. So I'm going to invite you to consider, to look at what I have in how I coach up and coming coaches. If you've been working on being a coach for the last 2 years and you have not pulled it together yet, I have the perfect thing for you. The perfect thing. It's called Coach Fast Track. And what you do, this would be like the next step for you right now, is you go to here, go to this link, 3ke.2/let's coach, and hear about the Coach Fast Track program. I'm not going to take time to explain it all here because it's only for people who see how those 4 different areas are important. And if you're that person who's been working on putting your coaching together for the last couple of years and you still are not put together, you're missing some very important components. Content is one, and it's very important, but there are those other 3 that are vital in your performance as a coach. So if you'd like to know more about the Coach Fast Track program, go to 3ke.2/let's coach, LETSCOACH, and there'll be a questionnaire. Just answer the questions. It helps me know what you're looking for as a coach, and then schedule a call. And you'll either talk to me or one of my team members, and we'll give you all the details about the Coach Fast Track, and we can see if we can help you in developing your coaching, because we have a very specific curriculum we use in training in moving you forward in becoming an excellent coach. We also have an advanced way to help you with your content. We have a professional content process that you could also receive in this Coach Fast Track program if that's something that interests you, that you want to take your content and move it up to a higher level. We can totally work with you and show you how to do this. But yeah, we've put together an incredible program we've been building for the last year of all my experience over the last 18 years to help you, really to help you to go from this of mindset, delivery, and intuition still in question to literally check the box. So you've got all 4 in alignment so you can do your best. That's what I hope. Because I've learned some things about coaching like this. I would love to teach you. I'd love to teach you the journey of a client. I would love to train you on how to see below the surface in people's lives, not just the surface, but to be able to see below the surface and help raise your intuition to just a high level. I would love to be able to teach you how techniques align the chakras of a person and where to identify what chakra has been damaged and how to put the person in alignment so they can perform at a better level because it's their power centers. And I even have a coaching program that's all the way done. If you don't even want to build a coaching program, I have a coaching program. You can use mine and you can get a license to use it. And if you're an empath, I'm an empath too. I love knowing how to be an empath and be a coach. And I've got training there for you too. So I'm totally in this to be able to help you perform at your best. And I just wanted you to know what you're going to find to work on next. It's mindset, delivery, and intuition once you get your content organized. So again, if you're interested in at least finding out the information, at least finding it out, you can scan this code right here. You can scan this on your phone, and then it'll take you to that questionnaire, answer the couple of questions I have for you there, and then be able to pick a time to talk to myself or to either Wayne or Cody, and they'll give you all the information about the Coach Fast Track program. Because we're full in this. I mean, this is what we do full time, is we train you and people like you to be able to finally get it pulled together, be fully active, have paid clients, really have a full activated business, and you really are living your mission every single day, and you know what you're doing, and your intuition is going off the charts because you're being trained from an intuitive empath coach who's been doing it for 18 years. I would love to coach you. I would love to help you. I would love to help you move forward and really, really, really shine in what it is that you do. Okay, so I want to answer some questions, then I'll come back to this afterwards. Let me see here. Questions. Oh, 13. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Okay, that's a lot of questions. Holy smokes. 14. I thought there was going to be like 3 or 4. Oh, man. That's amazing. Okay, that's great. I just clicked on the Q&A box and it's like 15. Okay, now you guys are starting to add these up like crazy. Okay, all right. I love that you have questions because I want to help you. And okay, so let's work through this here. Okay, I got to turn my screen share off here. Okay, let me get to my Q&A screen. I got to pull it over here next to me so I can see it. All right, let's do some questions. Okay. Okay, one of the questions here, this comes from Craig. Craig asked the question, oh, just so you know, I did not forget about my advanced checklist that I will show at the very end, and so you can get a screenshot of it, okay? So I typed it up. It just comes from my own notes. It's not like all fancy in a document. You know, it's like it's in my notes on my computer, in my folder of over the years, what matters. So I have a checklist. So I typed it up for you. So you will still get that. Just hang in there. I'll show you that at the very end here. Okay, Craig has a question. One of the questions he's received is, what's the difference between a coach and a therapist? Would love to know some insights on distinctions of a coach. All right, so let me answer that by going back to one of our diagrams. Okay, we've got some great diagrams here. So tickled with how this turned out. Okay, which one do I go to? Okay, so a therapist. What does a therapist do? A therapist is getting involved with a person to help them discover the root issue, right? What does coaching do? Oh, where's my screenshot? Here it is. What does coaching do? It empowers the person to do it themselves. So you are putting content together to train the person to get from point A to point B. You are not fixing people. You're training them on a skill or education. So coaches train people. They don't fix their problems. They don't solve their problems. They don't get into it to tell them what is right, what is wrong. Because during coaching, the client makes all their own decisions of action steps, makes all their own decisions of what they use or not use. They make all their own decisions, but they're getting an education and a skill training. So that's what a coach does. Like a basketball coach is going to give an education and a skill training so that that person can do better at basketball. That's what a life coach who's doing it the right way, is going to do, is they're going to educate and train the person on how to do things. For example, me as a life coach, I train people on how to do mindset techniques. I teach them the skill, I give them the education, and I show them how it works. Then it's completely up to them if they do it or not. They're the ones who get to use it or not. They paid for the training, they paid for the education, and then they can use the technique. If they have questions, I can answer their questions. A therapist walks the person through the technique and does the technique on them. So they are providing the experience, and the person's going through the technique. And each time that person wants to go through that technique, they go back to another appointment with the therapist. Now, there's all different kinds of therapists. This is not trying to cover every single person, but just kind of give a basic difference of description. So what I do and what I train other people to do is what are mindset techniques? How do they work? I train people how those techniques work. Then they teach others how to do that. So we're empowering people with education and skill. So if someone says, oh, a coach is just like a therapist, it's like, no, you don't know the difference. Therapists walk people through the exercise, walk them through the technique. A coach teaches the technique. Another thing a coach does is they hold their clients accountable, meaning there's daily action steps and reporting that happens. So there's action steps, there's reporting and accountability. And that happens on either a daily or a weekly basis to be able to support them taking action towards their point B. Another part about this is they're actually working from point A to point B, where a therapist is about what's going on in the moment. So we're goal-based. Coaches are goal-based. That's what point B is. So we work towards goals, we teach techniques, they learn skills, they learn education, which is just like basketball. So we are like a basketball coach, except it's not basketball. It's called life. And these are life techniques to use to be able to govern yourself. A therapist, you're not governing yourself. You're asking somebody else to help you on the inside to be able to work through something. You might learn a skill, you might not, but with the coach and the way I coach people, you will come out of that well-trained with a life skill, with mindset skills that you can use for the rest of your life, and you can go teach somebody else. I don't know very many people who come out of their therapy appointment who can go teach somebody what the therapist just taught them. So we help people become independent and to be able to thrive on their own. And so we are not in any way, I'm not saying therapists create dependent people, but just to make sure it's clear, coaching is not a process to cause people to be dependent on the coach. Our main goal as a coach is to be able to help our clients to be completely independent of us, and hopefully they actually turn into an influencer or a person who is out teaching and helping other people because of the changes that happen in their life. So good. I love it. And I just love that part about coaching because it's like it transfers. All the education and skill transfers to the next person, and they can use the skill for the rest of their life because they know how it works. They know how it works. I just love it. And the more they use it, the better they get at it. And it's all the functions of the mind. It's all about the way we think, the way we visualize our emotions, the way we talk. It's like how to become a more aligned human being. It's awesome. So great question. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Next question. I feel like a lot of my inspirations are bubbles and then they pop. What's going on? Okay, so Ashley. Okay, so when I showed this right here about your ideas coming in and then they go back out, that tends to be that feeling of like they're gone or they popped. So your ideas are still there. Now, could you shrink the idea down to nothing? Yeah, you can. Other people can crush your ideas. If you got grumpy people around you that are pessimistic and super critical, they can actually crush your ideas, and your ideas can go down or get like pushed way far away. But the idea is still there. Now, if you have people who are popping your ideas, like literally exploding them and like obliterating them, that's pretty rough. But just so you know, nobody can kill an idea. They might have popped what was currently there, but that idea cannot be stopped. That idea is in the realm of intellect, of intelligence. No human being can destroy an idea. They can destroy the belief of the human being having a belief in that idea, but that idea, if it was stopped in the moment, it comes back. It's still in the air. It won't go away. So ideas that you've had that may have felt like they went away, they might be a distance from you, but they are not gone. I've had ideas that have come to me and I pushed them way far out of my head. And then years later, wait a minute, come back. And the ideas can come back. They might be a different form because time has gone along, but they definitely cannot be shut down or killed by a human being. There's no way. And the devil can't crush an idea either, because it's intelligence. It's intelligence. It's in its pure form. And so if it feels like it's at a distance, what you get to do is you get to remove some of those negative thoughts that might have pushed it away, or start to call it back and tell it, okay, I'm ready. Come back. I'm ready. But literally start asking for it to come back, because I've had that happen so many times where I was so in a non-believing state of myself. And then later it's like, all right, I believe in myself now. Let's do this. In fact, one of those moments recently has happened where it's like, you know what? I think I'm ready for that idea now. And now the idea is coming back. So I got this new thing I'm going to be doing that is going to help kids and teenagers. And so I just call it back. Be open, ready, willing to do it. It will come back. It's not that far. Give an example of a folder. This is Lillian. Yeah, Lillian. So give an example of a folder. So how do I explain this? So in a folder, for my ideas, there will be a document. Let me see here. Let me just bring up a white. So in the folder, there will be a document, and I don't want to take much time creating this. So on the document, I will put the ideas. I will put the ideas onto the document and just list them. And I will number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll put the ideas all together in a document and this folder will be starting my appointment in the first 2 appointments. This folder will be, and you could actually have 3 different documents if you wanted to. You could have 3 different documents in the same place. I guess what I'm trying to say is have 3 different areas or 3 different documents to be able to sort through your thoughts as though you're imagining it being the start, the middle, and the end of your content. The start, the middle, the end. What content would be good to teach them in the beginning to get them going? What content would be in the middle that could really help them, understand things and challenge them? And then at the end, how can you finish it off strong? What would be great content to share with them to finish it off? And so instead of piling all of these ideas, all of them into the same place, I like to introduce this first step of sorting of start, the middle, the end. Now, even though your brain might not know what really needs to fit there, it's just a beginning way to sort before you get to mapping it out on a timeline. So you're just starting to play with this, right? Like there is going to be a beginning, a middle, and an end of a coaching program. The beginning is like the introduction and how to get them set up for success. The middle is, taking action steps, moving forward. And the end is making sure they have a plan of where they're going to go next. But it's the beginning, the middle, the end. And you'll notice that every training has a beginning, the middle, and the end. Every story has a beginning, the middle, and the end. Every day has the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so the reason for this is to begin sorting it in those 3 different areas so that you can just start to pull it apart, the pile of ideas into 3 different sections, and really keep it simple: beginning, middle, and end, instead of having it all in a pile. So either 3 folders or 3 documents. Cool. Love it. Great questions. Another question: do you adjust the pricing for test clients? So if you are testing what you're doing on clients and you are ready to start practicing your content and you've got people you're working with, one way to think about this is, let me see if I have another screenshot here. Oh, it's right here. Okay. So let's say you have one client that is free and you have a second client that's free. And the question is, do you adjust the pricing for test clients? You can. You could say, hey, now my coaching is $25 for these appointments. And you can, you can adjust pricing whenever you want. I think what you want to do is you want to have at least 2 to 3 people that you've tested the content on, and you're finding like, wow, this is really good. As your confidence builds, you can adjust price and go, hey, it's actually $25 for these, 3 sessions or 5 sessions. And if, a couple of people like, yeah, that sounds great, and there was like little to no resistance, that tells you that your confidence is matching what you're doing. So with that next person, you could be up to 50, 75, or 100 because of your level of confidence. And that's what you're looking for, is you're looking for, hey, I had confidence here. I can feel it. People are doing great. I offered $25. That was amazing. They just quickly jumped on it. So I'm going to try it at 75. Wow, that person said yes. Okay, now I'm going to try it at 150. Oh, okay, there was a no. And then another person said no. And another person said no. It's like, okay, maybe my confidence isn't that high yet. Or maybe I'm not articulate enough with my coaching. And so you come back to 75. So you literally are checking in with confidence and with your delivery skill, your intuition. And if you get some no's at a particular price that you're offering, don't hesitate to adjust. You could either adjust your pricing back down to where you were, or you can work on your negative thoughts and negative emotions to clear out that so you have a higher level of confidence. So you can either way, you can clear out the negativity and then offer it again, which most likely the person is going to say yes, or you come back to the other price and get another yes this way. So remember that your confidence is based upon how you see yourself, how you see other people, how you see your program, and how you see things turning out. And so that level of confidence then drives your ability to perform better. And as your confidence grows and your vision of yourself grows, you'll find that you can start to have higher paid clients. And this could be $300 for the whole program or $300 per session. But really keep track of who you're coaching. Keep a journal of how it's going as a coach. Like, you want to study yourself, how you're doing, how it's going, what are you learning? The more you pay attention to your coaching style and your effectiveness, you'll find that your confidence will go up because you're paying attention to yourself. And then the pricing of your program will be able to help support you at doing this full time. Cool? All right, cool. All right. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's 11:03. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, let me think about this just for a quick second. Who's all still here? Okay. So let me say this. Oh, do I dare do this? Do I dare do this? Do I dare? Okay. I have not done this before. What I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. I have coaching appointments I'm supposed to be in right now. So I have to go, but hold on just a second. I'm just going to see if you guys are game for this. I'm going to see. I don't know if you can or can't, but this is what I've got. Okay. So I am going to be available. Tomorrow morning from 9. I'm blocking my calendar off right now. I'm going to be available tomorrow morning from 9 to 10:30 to answer questions. So we're going to send out another Zoom link, and I still have 12 questions to go. And I want to open it up for some live questions. So all these questions are going to be saved because my assistant will save them for me. So I'm going to be here tomorrow morning at 9 to 10:30 to answer questions because I want to help you out. So we're going to send you a link, another Zoom link for a separate call tomorrow morning from 9 to 10:30. I'm going to answer more questions, and probably you're going to come up with more questions between now and then. And so if you want to be here tomorrow morning at 9, and I know it's a weird time of day, but I'm just going to say at 9 to 10:30, I'll be here to answer more questions. I want to make sure you get answers to all your questions, be able to help you with where you're at so you can get out there and perform at a higher level to be able to do a good work. And so let's show up tomorrow morning. We're not done yet. Okay. So if you want coaching, and you want to be able to move to a higher level, go to 3ke.2/let's coach. Go there or scan this code. Go there and book a call. You'll either talk to me, Cody, or Wayne. Get into my Coach Fast Track program because we have nailed it. We have such incredible content. It is mind-blowing what we've put together from all of our experiences, from all these different classes, and all the coaching I've ever done. My team has really helped extract out of me what I've been doing. What have I been doing in my coaching? How do I figure this stuff out? And the whole intuitive side is huge. And there's just so many cool things to teach you and share with you. And we've organized this in a way that you cannot lose. There's no way you can lose with this. No way. It's like super smart investment to be able to do this. And so if I just want to pass this on to somebody who's as passionate as I am, right? About teaching and moving and inspiring people. And so go either scan this code and go book a call, or go to this link and book a call, which answer the questions, then book a call and find out more about the Coach Fast Track program. Here is the content checklist. Get your picture. Tomorrow, I will do my description through this, and I'll give you some insights, a little bit more of an insight with this, because this is a more advanced level of putting together content, either for coaching and or for presentations. And so get your snapshot. Again, tomorrow I'll be here from 9 to 10:30. My team will send you a link. I will see you then. We'll go through the rest of these questions, and also we'll do live questions. The whole thing's going to be questions. I'll have the same slide deck with me so I can refer back to the different things that I showed you. The only people that are going to be invited back tomorrow is who's here right now. Okay. So that way we're working with people who actually were here, who heard everything. So the questions will be more point on. Good. Cool. Okay. Got your picture? Good. Okay. So scan this, go check in, and don't worry. This call to learn about the Coach Fast Track is not a high pressure sales experience. It's an information gathering experience. It's so you can have the information, what we're doing, and gives you a chance to make a decision if this is the right thing for you and the right time for you. And go jump on that. And so you're not trying to do everything by yourself, because when you do it by yourself, it takes longer. Yes, you'll still be successful because I believe in you, but how about do it in a shorter amount of time? Longer or shorter? You decide. If you don't have a lot of time and you need to get this put together, then the Coach Fast Track program is going to be perfect for you. Okay, so again, I'll be here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and we'll have about an hour and a half to answer questions. Cool. All right, all you do-it-yourselfers, I love the fact that you are doing yourself, but I know where you're stuck and I know why you're stuck, and I can help you with that. Get me in your life as your coach. Let's make a difference. Cool. All right, cool. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Awesome, you guys. Thank you. And we'll bring these questions with us in that discussion for tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Thanks. See you. Bye.